Is it Uchiwali or is it one Mike? And that is the question that the people have for Jay Nicky. Might I add, didn't even know what that reference was from as a New Yorker.
Hey, how about those Knicks?
How about those Knicks? Hey, how about those Knicks?
Hey, how about those Knicks, huh?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of TKW Weekly. That's right, we're back weekly, Monday at 9 a.m. Make sure you're tuned in. This week, we had 4 quarters for you as always. First quarter, we switched the dish on the Knicks being a playoff team. Not a play-in team, playoff team. That's a top 6 seed. Believe it. Second quarter, we had the people, it's me, I'm the people, versus Jay Nicky on his flip-flopping allegations. You'll be surprised by that outcome, I'm sure. Third quarter, we had community, and that ended up being a discussion about the All-Star game. Once again, you guys better be voting. Like right now, like after you watch the show, go vote so that we can get those numbers where they're supposed to be. And in the fourth quarter, we had a game for you as always, the password game. Enjoy the show.
Are you swishing or dishing the Knicks holding on to this top 6 spot out east and avoiding the play-in?
You know the vibes, man. I am swishing. I mean, I was saying before the season, that was a goal of mine. I felt like we were capable of it, of making the playoffs without a play-in. A lot of people called me crazy, Robert Ory included. Don't sleep. We're going to the playoffs, and I don't even think it's going to be play-in.
Y'all down to 7-8 now. Let's be real.
And so it's really nice, and I can't wait for this victory lap because as we're seeing, we are a legitimately good basketball team. I mean, like, this is the first time in my recent memory, I don't know, like I was saying on Post Game Prosperity, when's the last time we had like multiple 4-game win streaks in a season, let alone in a month? You know, so we had an 8-game win streak. We lost 5 in a row, which was unfortunate. But we played well during that stretch, and we've been playing well during this entire stretch, with the exception of that San Antonio game, which is kind of an anomaly. And that's with injuries. Like we're on a 4-game win streak with our RJ, who's one of our best players and was playing one of his best basketball.
Yeah, I got to switch on it as well, man. You know, the vibes around the Knicks fan base have been a roller coaster, and I want to push the positivity. You know what I mean? Like Sean said, we were on an 8-game win streak, right? We lost 5 in a row. Before those 5 were very close. We gave the effort, and they were definitely winnable games that we were right there and, you know, could have pulled them off. I definitely think that we make the 6th seed. I think it's going to be tough. You know, we still have a lot of season left, and we know how, you know, teams can go on runs. So we really got to lock in, you know, but we've saw the potential that this team has during that 8-game winning streak. When we're playing at our peak, playing at our best, you know, we're a force to be reckoned with. And I think that's what's going to put us in the top 6 if we get back to that. Like Sean mentioned, RJ coming back is only going to help. Points in the paint have been a little bit down since he's been out. I expect that to get back up, and that's only going to help.
Look, I'm switching because I look who's below us right now, right? Do any of these teams really like scare me with the way that we play basketball right now, right? Because not that, you know, I would say we're like leaps and bounds incredibly massively, you know, levels and levels ahead of all these teams. But the fact remains that we're watching a team right now where Julius Randle's playing better than he did 2 years ago. We're watching it, you know, we were watching RJ Barrett finally warm up, started to play really good basketball before he had that freak, weird-handed finger injury, right? And then Jalen Brunson, how many times have we had a game happen like in Toronto? We're going to choke the game away yet again. And then we don't now because we have Jalen Brunson, a steady hand who's able to just kind of, all right, I'll hit a couple of shots. I'll figure it out. And we'll put this away and go home. We haven't had that, right? We haven't had that. The same point that Sean made about, well, how many times have, you know, we've been able to have a couple of small winning streaks, right? Those 3-4 game winning streaks. When was the last time this team was able to enjoy that in a season and not just have like, okay, win 1, lose 1, and then go on a 9-game win streak, go on an 8-game win streak, right? When was the last time you were able to just some consistency with some small winning streaks, right? And I think this is starting to speak to Jalen Brunson, the lack of the choking, these small little win streaks. And that's why I feel more confident when I switch this, because if Julius is playing like an all-star, Jalen's playing like an all-star, I think the Knicks could get 5. I don't think it's unreasonable. It's been a lot of word on the Knicks Twitter, on the Bird app, on the internet, about some accusations about a certain member of TKW. Now, I don't take these allegations lightly. Being a flip-flopper, this is the people versus Jay Nicky. And we're going to get to the bottom of these flip-flop allegations. Now, we have our plaintiff here, Sean. we have our defendant here, Jeremy J. Nicky, as you know him. So, naturally, I gotta let the plaintiff go first. Sean, the courtroom, the floor is yours. Please present your case. Why is Jeremy a flip-flopper?
Oh man, I mean, for the sake of the court's time, I'll try to be concise. The wintertime somersaulter here, Mr. Flip-Flop J. Nicky himself, has, from one statement to the next, he will flip-flop on numerous occasions. Jeremy has been one of the most staunch supporters of RJ Barrett, as I'm sure he'll tell you. But because of that, that leads to what makes him such a flip-flopper. You see, he was quoted saying, and I quote, "RJ Barrett is losing me, y'all." And not only was RJ Barrett losing him, not only was it in that tweet, he was joining in with everyone else when people were bullying RJ and talking about low basketball IQ and all these crazy things that were being said about RJ Barrett. He's making a face as if he never said that. And so I point to Exhibit A, RJ Barrett Euro steps against, I believe, the Cleveland Cavaliers. J. Nicky gets on Spaces the next day and says, why would he do that Euro step? Like, that's such a low IQ basketball play. RJ doesn't have a bag. Like, if he had a bag, he would have done a better Euro. Like, you hoop, Sean, you know that's not a good move. The same things that everyone uses to speak against RJ, J. Nicky slid right into that, even though he's a staunch RJ supporter. And he used the made basket as his supporting argument. And I think that is the nastiest and most egregious form of flip-flopping.
This won't be too difficult. I know you guys have wives, you have kids, you have hair appointments, you have all these things you need to get to. So let's make this quick. First and foremost, I am an RJ supporter. I've made countless battlefields of RJ haters look like crime scenes where I've absolutely decimated their takes. Now, in regards to Sean's first statement about my tweets, there is a bit of context missing there. Context being, when I tweeted, RJ is losing me, RJ had just started the game 0 for 4, but what Sean failed to also tell you is that my next tweet following that, which he actually gave me credit for in his own space, was let me relax, it's early. That was the tweet that I then said right after RJ is losing me because
Your Honor, objection. Is that not the definition of a flip-flop right there?
Or is that an example of holding myself accountable to understanding my emotions were getting the best of me? I realized I messed up in that tweet. You caught me in a bad moment. You caught me with my hand in the cookie jar, Your Honor. I'm sorry. But I realized I'm allergic to cookies. I don't even need to put my hand in there. I'm good. So, also, low IQ was never said. The correct statement was RJ Barrett plays predetermined. And that was the statement I made because, as Sean clearly is flabbergasted by my statement, I hope he's proud of me. He uses big words. I'm trying to extend my vocabulary. And I said it was a Euro step because he went into the defender on the Euro step. It wasn't a bump layup where you try to, initiate contact and then go. It was the simple 1-2 clear Euro step footwork. And he went right into the defender. He got the foul call and he made the layup. So it worked out. My problem was in moments like that, that's not always going to be the case. You're not always going to get the foul. You're not always going to make the layup. But Nick's Twitter has shown you tweet one thing that doesn't go with your narrative or your agenda, and you're immediately a flip-flopper instead of just being a basketball watcher and calling a spade a spade. If you want to talk about flip-flopper, Sean, then you should have never stopped saying fire Tom Thibodeau spinning on a chair.
Tom Thibodeau is a criminal! Bro, fire the coach, bro. Like, fire the coach. Fire the coach! What are you waiting for? Fire somebody! Tibbs is a criminal.
And then coming back and saying, hey, well, there's no need to fire him now. There should have been no reason to say, hey, get Julius Randle off my team, to now saying, hey, Julius Randle, you're an all-star. Because my friend, that is quite literally flip-flopping.
That's adjusting to new information over the course of time. You tweeting while he's 0 for 4 and saying he's losing me, and then turning back 2 minutes later and saying something else is flip-flopping. Now, if I say fire, if I spin around in the chair and say fire Tom Thibodeau, and then by the end of the show, I'm like, actually, Tom Thibodeau's pretty great. That's flip-flopping. There's a difference. Do not ever try to put me in your boat. Yours is sinking.
Sir, Your Honor, maybe you could help me understand. You just said that's adjusting to new information over the course of time, correct?
Correct.
When the entire season, I'm saying RJ's that guy, I'm really pulling for him, he's him. And in one tweet, all that gets erased. And then with new information over the span of 4 minutes, because that is time, is it not? I can then say I'm in my feelings. Disregard what I just said.
That's flip-flopping. 4 minutes is time, technically, yes. You can try to escape on that technicality if you want to. But me feeling differently about Tom Thibodeau over the course of 15 games and how the team is playing, where we're playing terrible and looking horrible and then we're on an 8-game win streak, that's completely different than you looking at RJ while he's 0 for 4 in the first quarter and joining the rest of the timeline and jumping him.
Never once joined in with the community. I never once was over here on some RJ's a bum, he's a bust, he's peaked. I've never used those words.
Did you say he didn't have a bag?
I still don't think RJ has a bag, but that's okay. He doesn't need one.
You said he had a low basketball IQ.
Do you think RJ has a bag?
You said it was a low basketball IQ move.
I said he plays predetermined.
You said low basketball IQ. So anyway, in my closing statement, I will say that I believe in the court here, Jay Nicky has clearly just painted himself as the flip-flopper that he is trying to avoid being. And you know why he's done that? Because he can't stick to anything. In trying to paint himself outside of the flip-flopping image, he has flip-flopped midway through his statement, and he can't be consistent on anything that he's saying. It's flipception. It's flipception. Jay Nicky is going to flip-flop one way or another. He can't help it. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I hope that you have realized this, and I know that you heard the things he said and the contradictions within them.
People of the court, Sean has tried to bamboozle you with words, antics, and also words that aren't real. Flipception is not a real word. It's fire, not a real word. But I will remind you of one thing. I coined the term on Nick's Twitter, being an RJ Barrett ashing. That was me. Not you, Sean. That was me, okay? So, I don't understand how I can go from that to being a flip-flopper with one tweet. With one.
I think Jeremy beat the accusations, man. I think he beat the charges. I can't, in my good graces, say that he was a flip-flopper when he only said he's starting to lose me. Had the tweet said RJ has lost me, and then he walked it back, I think just off the verbiage of that first tweet, I think I would have been there. I don't have a gavel. It's just an actual hammer. So please excuse me. It's a little aggressive. The gavel has been banged in favor of Jeremy.
I was just going to say, I'm glad he said Toy Story because that's why I was so curious to what he was going to say. Toy Story's got to be number one, hands down. Hands down.
I think that Toy Story is such a clear number one that the better conversation is what's number two. And okay, I think that in my mind, it's almost a toss-up between Finding Nemo and Monsters, Inc. I think Finding Nemo is an absolute classic.
Flush the Fish. I don't know how it's number two. This is not, I think it's overrated, okay? I think it's a little overrated. I think it's a fine movie. It's a solid movie. I don't even mean to berate the movie. But number two, I don't think we can. Number two that's a silver medal. That's a high standing. Are we sure we want to give it to that little fish? Are we positive that there was nobody else? The Incredibles. There was nothing else. I'm not saying that that's for sure number two. I'll hear you on Monsters, Inc. I think that's good.
I would have to say Finding Nemo almost has an argument for number one.
Danny, you're out of your fucking mind. The name of the game right now is NBA All-Star voting. We all saw the first fan returns, right? And we had a tweet here from at VR_rotate1 saying, so Jalen Brunson is not in the top 10 of the All-Star guards in the first round of fan votes, but Derrick Rose is number 9. What is wrong with society? And to that I say, buddy, you are correct. What is wrong with society? First of all, Derrick Rose, before I even lob this up to my co-partners here, okay? Derrick Rose, who, yes, we loved the resurgence when he came back 2 years ago. I don't think anybody has any ill will towards Derrick Rose in this team, right? But Derrick Rose, like death taxes and the first fan returns, Derrick Rose is going to have 200,000 votes. Chicago, they wake up every morning and they vote for Derrick Rose. The other side is, because of his massive Adidas deal, China loves Derrick Rose. He goes out and he used to do these tours. I think he probably still does. He has the deal active. They love him out there. Blame China, blame Chicago. out of context, this makes me sound like a Republican. In context, I'm correct.
We got to reward our guys right now. Randall is, I think he has an easier path to get into the All-Star game than Brunson would, with all the other guards that are just playing so well right now. But these two absolutely deserve it. I put out a tweet the other day saying they're both playing All-Star caliber ball, period. The numbers that Randall's putting up and what he's doing on both ends of the court, and it's affecting the whole team, and you could even lead that right back to Brunson. Brunson's affecting Randall. That's affecting the whole team. So it's like it's a whole thing,
My biggest issue with the All-Star voting is Nick Claxton being ahead of Julius Randle. I think that's disgusting. The Giannis's, the Jason Tatums, the KDs, they're all household names. They're going to get votes from everybody. I do not believe that all fan bases are voting for Nick Claxton. I believe that Nets fans are actively voting for KD and making sure they include Nick Claxton. And so with the problem with society is the problem with Knicks fans and the Knicks fan community, where everyone has become bigger fans of themselves than the team, and people aren't actively voting for Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. And people have this vendetta against Julius Randle that they can't let go of. And it's time to let go of it. And if you're not going to let go of it for Julius Randle, let go of it for you. Like, are we going to get outnumbered by Nets fans? We don't even know real Nets fans. How are we getting outnumbered by Nets fans? I think that's disgusting. I think that's disgusting. It is. And it's disgusting. It's a call to action, bro. We all need to vote every single day. We all need to talk about voting every single day. Granted,
this is how we change the narrative of the outlook of the team. You know what I mean? Like, you have to do it from within. It starts with this fan base, and it starts with guys like Sean putting these out there. You know what I mean? It's not about, shaking it for the team. It's about being passionate about the team because you're a fan. Like that's why we fan, right?
Hold on. I've heard this term multiple times. It came up in a space talk weeks ago.
Let's do it.
What is shaking it for the team?
Because you're rooting so excessively.
We are sports fans. We turn on the television to watch the guys dribble the ball and put it in the hoop in the laundry that we root for, right? When did this become shaking it for the team? If you're worried about someone shaking it for the team, don't be a fucking sports fan. The whole point of being a sports fan is to shake it for the fucking team, isn't it? Like, like a crazy person hanging out.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
what
like
is the point of being a fan
is for us to shake it for the team. When you go to a game, do you when the Knicks make a basket, do you sit there in silence and you're upset? Or do you clap a little bit? And if you clap, then you've shooken it for the team, right? You have shaken. So what? When did this happen? I don't understand when this happened. It's like I took a snooze for a year. I woke up and people are like, "You're a Knicks fan, shaking it for the team." And I'm like, "Yeah, I heard you a Knicks fan." They're like, "Yeah," and I'm like,
aren't you excited when they win? When they do good? When they play good?
I'm supposed to be angry all the time. I used to get yelled at for being angry all the time, and they were winning 17 games. The terminology that I'm triggered by the terminology because I don't understand what are the implications of it. What are the implications?
The anti-fans have taken over, and the anti-fan, I keep saying Spaces was a mistake. The anti-fans have taken over. They've used their platforms to poison the community. And now it's like people feel guilty for rooting for the team, and they try, you guys, like I see now like mediocrity mongers, like, these are these people are the reason that James Dolan and Leon Rose get away with this. It's like, Leon Rose has created a roster with an average rotation age of 24 that is a playoff team. The anti-fan thing is disgusting, and it has to stop at some point. This is the best. This is the first time we entered the new year above 500 in a decade. So what the hell? What were y'all doing before? Because I can't stop saying it. I watched Alexi Spedman pick and rolls with Lou Amundsen. I'm going to root for Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, bro. I am. So get on the app and vote right now.
That's the easiest way to do it. Go download the NBA app, create an account, and vote all day, every day, period. Listen,
and all y'all have the NBA app because you use it to suck off players on other teams. Go vote.
We are playing the password game. Now, some of you might be familiar with the password game, something we've seen on, the Fallon Show and places like that. It's pretty straightforward, okay? We have 2 teams of 2. One person gives the clues. The other guesses. The clue givers on each team know the secret word, and the guessers, of course, do not. You can only give 1-word clues. No gestures, no winking, no faces, nothing, okay? 1 fucking word, you shut up, that's it. If the guesser misses, it goes to the other team, so on and so forth till somebody gets it right. The password is RJ Barrett.
Toronto.
Jeremy Lin.
Left.
RJ Barrett.
All right.
That one didn't, but
All right. Okay. Now that's my fault. I should have said Canada, bro.
that probably would have got me.
My only concern was saying left or lefty, but I just wanted to keep it simple. But the password is noted all-time NBA draft bust Frank Ntilikina.
Bust.
This could be so many people. For respect of my bit, it has to be Frank Ntilikina.
Let's go!
Yeah.
My
I
God.
literally was like, he's not gonna get it. I'm gonna say French. It's gonna be cool. Like,
Nah, if I would have said French, you might have said
You would've said
Fournier. I
Fournier,
knew
I
if I
know.
said bust, he'd say Frank Ntilikina.
You gotta know your teammates. You gotta know who's on.
yeah.
You gotta know where my brain was gonna go when he said the word bust. It
I
was
would've said
always gonna
French.
start there.
I feel like I would have said Frenchie. He would have gotten not just French.
The password is Kyle O'Quinn.
Beard.
You said beard, correct? The only person I can think of is Kyle O'Quinn.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Good.
On the board.
I was nervous. That was the first thing that popped in my head. I didn't want to guess it. I was like, no way it's Kyle. But KOQ, shout out.
I wanted
That was a good one.
I wanted to say KOQ. I wanted to say King of Queens. Like I wanted, but
I was just gonna
word.
say acronyms because he used to only tweet in acronyms. He used to literally tweet 15 random letters after every game. And you had to decipher it. But I didn't know if that was
You got to know your teammates. You know what I mean? You got to know your teammates.
The password
word here
is Wilson Chandler.
DePaul.
I don't know, buddy. Hold on. You said DePaul to be correct.
DePaul.
Is it like Miles Powell? No? Like, what the He lost me. I didn't get the ball.
Denver.
I mean, there's one that comes right to my head, but I don't know if you would have used Denver for him. And Sean's clue I have in my head still.
I would hope so.
Wilson Chandler?
Let's go.
No.
Oh,
Let's go. Let's
go. Oh man, let's go.
the password
I was gonna
is
say
Anthony
Tavin, but I was like, he's gonna say
Mason.
Garrett Smith.
I gotta ask the producer a question real quick.
No, Danny. No, you
I don't
cannot.
want to.
I'm responding directly to your question. There's no
You
fucking
can't.
way
No,
that you
you
can
can't.
say that. No, absolutely not.
All right. Okay. All right. No problem. I'm going to go with mask.
No fucking way you get this.
Really?
Ron Baker.
John, the word is haircuts.
It's 2 words.
It's one word. Haircuts, one word.
I think haircut is a single word. You're right.
Mask and haircuts. Who had interesting haircuts and who wore a mask? Why?
Hopefully, I'm thinking of the right thing.
But it wasn't.
Anthony Mason? Let's go!
Bro, How did you? I don't know how you didn't get that first. That's the only dude with haircuts on this team that would ever.
The mask thing was throwing me off. I was thinking too recent. I was like, who was wearing masks?
Yeah.
I don't know why the fuck you said mask dating. That was your best clue.
Image in my head. For some reason, I have an image in my head of him with a mask.
We are the champions, my friend.
It's not a championship belt.